Welcome everyone to Piedmont Triad International Airport in Greensboro, North Carolina. We are the home of Carolina Aircraft. Now, Carolina Aircraft is the #1 reseller of prime condition Beechcraft Barons and Bonanzas. I'm May Kay Beeler, and just like you, I love Bonanzas. I have got a beautiful, exceptional one to tell you about today. It's a 2006 model, but folks, she looks like she is brand new. She's a G36. She's got that fully integrated G1000 flight deck. Absolutely beautiful glass. Lots to love about this plane, so let's take a look. So feast your eyes on this beautiful engine. Now this is a special edition, Teledyne Continental, IO 550B, 310 horsepower. Now it's got the factory tuned induction system. It has other qualities to it that make it smoother and faster, thus the special edition. Now get this. I told you this airplane is a 2006 model, but she's like brand new. Only 525 hours on the engine since new, only 525. And let's look at the prop. It's a Macaulay 3-blade prop. It's got the de-ice boots, only 525 hours on the prop since new. When you have an airplane that's this beautiful and this well pampered, you're gonna wanna take her places, you're gonna wanna show her off. Plenty of fuel to do that, about 74 gallons of usable fuel. And the paint on 7133 Yankee is gorgeous. Check this out. Again, the airplane only has 525 hours on it. It's a 2006 model, but she looks brand new. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say the paint is a 9.5. She's Matterhorn white with gold and black stripes. When it comes to easy entry for your passengers, you gotta love the large double cargo doors. Beautiful interior. We're gonna take a closer look in a minute. The airplane holds about 1,033 pounds of useful load. So come on in, check out the interior with me. I love these beige leather seats and the carpet beige wool blend, all in beautiful condition. It's like a brand new airplane. It even has that new car smell. I love the executive writing table desk here and the club seating. Folks, it doesn't get any better than this.
Good afternoon, this is Brian Tuttle with Carolina Aircraft. Here today to go over the panel portion of November 7133 Yankee. This has the latest G1000 avionics, so let's take a closer look. Okay, we'll start up in the top left here of our primary flight display. You can see I have volume controls, flip-flop for our navs, our nav control here to change the frequencies, and a heading bug indicator as well. And then down at the bottom I can change altitude pre-select. In the middle here you can see I've set us up direct to Greensboro, which we're on the ground here, so this shows only 0.2 nautical miles on a direct track and track heading, so all that information is above you there. The same as our nav controls, this is our communication controls, and you change those the same way except for the comm switch here. The primary flight display here is all the information is right here in front of you. If we were rolling down the runway, you would see our digital vertical tape speed start to move. You can see here we have our VX, VY, and go around speeds programmed in at 84, 100, and 110 knots respectively. One thing I love about the G1000 is you have a constant true airspeed readout here as you're flying along. And so here we have our ADI and our HSI, blue up, brown down. We have a go around feature here that we would push for takeoff, and it pitches up I think to 7 degrees. So very nice there. Our compass and HSI system here, you can see our heading bug now set at 239 degrees. One thing I do like, you can push for an auto slave. It goes to the current heading. And on the far right here, we have our altitude pre-select. Now I could change that 4,000 or 5,000 feet. This airplane, we'll talk about the autopilot in a few minutes, but that is a pre-select. It will climb and level off at that altitude. If we were climbing, you would see our vertical speed here, 500, 1,000, 1,500 feet per minute, up or down. And our baro is right here. Greensboro is about 920, 930 feet. So about 3007, and we change that right here on the right hand side. So we'll come down the right. Again, there's our communication frequencies. We'll just do a little flip-flop here. The green is the active, the boxed is the standby. Our range, one thing that I did not turn on down here, we have a little inset that we can turn on. I really like this. You can put a little bit of everything in here. You can have your traffic readout, your topography, terrain. You can actually put your next rad readout here, your XM lightning, just different things. So really nice. You can also turn that off and not have it in there. But the range button here is what changes the range there. So now let's input our flight plan. Let's say that we're going to go to Myrtle Beach, one of my favorite places to go. We would just put in CRE, Grand Strand, direct, and you can see that automatically slaves over towards Myrtle Beach. So very intuitive here. You've got procedures. If we were going to do an approach, we would set that up just like a Garmin 530, 430, so very user friendly. Along the bottom here, I won't spend a lot of time, but this is where we input our transponder. You can see now we have 5107. We would just hit code and change it, or if we were canceling flight following, just hit VFR and that changes. But we also have transponder ident, timer references, nearest for nearest airports, those buttons along the bottom here as well. So we'll continue to move on. This is our audio panel, COM1, COM2. We also have a half com where I can be talking on one frequency. My co-pilot or passenger could be talking on a different frequency. All the way down here to our pilot and co-pilot intercom controls. And at the bottom you'll see a button here called display backup. This is really a neat feature of the G1000. If I've got a friend or another pilot on the right hand side that wants to fly but doesn't want to look over here over my shoulder, we just hit display backup. And you'll notice that your multifunction display now contains all the same information as the primary flight display. So a really neat feature for the G1000. Okay, we'll start at the top left of our multifunction display. This is basically the same buttonology as our primary flight display. We have volume and our flip-flop, our nav communication, our heading bug as well. And then we get down to our flight controls for our Garmin GFC 700 autopilot. This is one of the best autopilots that you'll ever fly behind. I flew corporate for years, and this is just as good as anything that I flew behind in a King Air or Citation. You can see here, of course, we talked about our flight director.
TAWS not available.
We have a yaw damper system as well. This will fly in heading mode, nav mode, approach mode, of course, hold altitude.
TAWS available.
Vertical speed select, I can choose that and up and down for say 500, 600, 700 feet per minute, and it will hold that pitch. Or you can push flight level change. This is something that you would see more in a King Air jet, to where you can program it to fly at a certain airspeed. And then we have another altitude pre-select control on the multifunction display as well. Along the left side here, you'll see these are all of our engine instrumentation gauges. Manifold pressure, RPM, this is our fuel flow. Cylinder head temperature, you can see it's highlighted number 2, that's the hottest cylinder right now. Oil temperature, oil pressure, dual alternators. If we were running, you would have alternator loads there. Our bus volts, and then our fuel quantity gauges. Along the top, we have our ground speed readout, our distance. Again, I put direct to Myrtle Beach, 150 miles away. If we were flying, this would tell us our estimated time en route and our MSA for that area. Coming down the right hand side here, this is our communication control, our barometric, just like on our primary flight display. Our range here, you can see I can scroll out or back. And then again, one nice feature is we have the same controls over here for the co-pilot to input a flight plan or change the flight plan as we're flying along. So we'll move down to the bottom here. You can see we have an engine button to push. I can push system, and now this digitally pulls everything up that we talked about before, except now we have fuel flow, gallons per hour. This is where we would increase or decrease our fuel, up or down. how much we've used, the endurance if we were flying, and then our alternator and bus volt loadage here. You can see we have a lean button, and then I've got a cylinder select or lean assist. If we were flying, I could hit assist, and as I was leaning the fuel back, we would see the EGTs and CHTs rise up until the until peak, and I could run lean of peak or rich of peak based on whatever I was looking to do at that point. So we'll go back and we can select map. I can put our Skywatch traffic on the map, topography, I can select terrain, I can select NextRad, and this has the GDL69A XM weather. Let's see if we've got any weather to deal with. There we go. Down in Alabama and Gulf Shores and places like that, there's some weather coming in. We can choose our XM Lightning, just different things here that we can put on this map. You can see here we are on the first map page. Now we have different pages for that. We'll switch to number 2. That is our Skywatch 497 active traffic. We have our XM weather page that is just for the XM weather, and then we have our terrain awareness page. So now I'll change over to waypoint. This gives us all the information for Greensboro, including runways and frequencies. The second page is just some intersection type information, nearest NDBs, VORs, that type of thing. On the aux page, what you're primarily going to use here, and there's some different timers that you can set up and whatnot, and there's for your satellites, but what mainly going to use here is our XM music. Now, I was raised in the 80s, so 80s on 8 is my favorite, so I would just hit enter, hit the volume, and we would turn that up and right through the headsets. What I really love about the G1000 is it doesn't cut off when talking on the intercom, so I can actually talk to my passengers, I can sing along, do whatever I like to do, and it doesn't cut out like it does on a Garmin 530 or 430. And then we have our nearest button. That's our nearest airports, intersections, NDBs, VORs, those type of things. So very intuitive, a lot of things that you can set up. We'll move over to the far right hand side of the instrument panel now. These are our backup instruments. We have a standby airspeed indicator, standby attitude indicator with its own internal battery, and our standby altimeter as well. Okay, let's take a closer look at the control wheel here on 7133 Yankee. We have our standard mic button on the back. Our autopilot disconnect, this red button will disconnect the yaw damper and the autopilot. Control wheel steering, that controls the flight director, and it allows us to temporarily override the altitude hold as well. And then we have electric trim button, up and down. In the middle we have our beach chronometer that gives local time. We have a timer here as well for instrument approaches, and then it gives UT time as well. On the far right, everything is right here at my fingertips. I really like this setup. Take off, controller says transponder ident. Just push this button here. We have a nice map light underneath for nighttime flying. We have a storm scope clear button. And if I'm flying around weather and I want to clear off the strikes, I just push that up. And if I miss the last radio call by the controllers, I just pull down and it gives me the last audio readout as well. Now this does have dual controls and dual push to talks. Okay, just a quick glance. This has been replaced with Rosen sun visors. These are very nice, cut down on the glare when flying in the sun on sunny days. You also notice as we pan around, the windows and the glare shield, everything in this airplane is very nice. Windows are clear, no starlighting, no scratching or crazing of any sort. Very nice airplane.
Bonanza 7133 Yankee is a cream puff. She has always been babied and pampered. Only one owner. She's from Phoenix, Arizona area. She has always been well taken care of hangar. There's no damage history. Very low time. She's a 2006 G36, but she only has 525 hours on her airframe, engine, and prop since new. It's like having your own brand new airplane. Beautiful paint, beautiful interior. You've got that G1000 fully integrated glass panel flight deck. There's portable oxygen on board. Lots to love here, so she's not going to last. She's looking for an owner who's going to take good care of her and appreciate her. If that's you, give us a call. We are Carolina Aircraft. We're at Piedmont Triad International Airport in Greensboro, North Carolina. You can give us a call at 336-665-0300. Check us out online at carolinaaircraft.com. Better yet, come see the airplane in person, come meet us. You will love her. For Carolina Aircraft, I'm May K. Bueller. Thanks so much for watching.